Hello friends, it's your favorite neighborhood nerd Simone. I had best laid plans to be done with my currently inked rotation for October and be able to fill up a new set in November. But as we're approaching November, today is October 26th as I'm filming this, I have to admit I'm nowhere even close. And because I really enjoy using each pen and writing with them, analyzing them a little deeper than I used to do in the beginning of the year, I decided, you know what, let's just not. So today I want to show you the 4 pens that I inked since I filmed this video. They're all still inked. This is just filling up slowly. So these are all my currently inked pens. This is an outlier. I felt the urge to ink my Twsbi Mini with a reverse architect with document black ink. I will document it here on this list. However, I will not, most likely not review it. Maybe I will, because I would actually like to know if it makes a difference. Let's talk about this when I'm actually, documenting it on the page. And then I also inked up the 2 Benu Hots that Benu sent me. I really wanted to see how they write and how I would enjoy them in the long term. And then I also inked up a new pen that I received from Papa J. So now I not only have 10 pens inked, I have 14 pens inked, and that's a lot. And I've just finished, I can't even really show you. Let me see if there is, yeah. So this is the last pen that I analyzed, wrote a little snippet about. This is up here. So I analyzed 4. I still need to go 10 more. And as I said, it's October 26th. I'm not going to, yes, this is a chore, but I'm not going to make this a chore. I want to enjoy this. This is a fun thing that I want to do. I don't want to stress myself out and say, okay, it's the end of October. Let me just sit down every single free minute that I have and write with these pens, write about these pens, find out what I like, what I don't like about them, about the ink, about the pen, about how they feel. No, this is still supposed to be fun for me in the first place, and the analysis that I get from this is part of that fun. And as soon as I'm going to put a time limit on it, or even start to stress about it, it's no longer fun for me. However, let me check if I can show you where the other one was. This, when I did this in August, this was a lot of fun. I loved analyzing, asking questions when something didn't work. I actually even loved putting that ink comparison here that I did when I figured out if the Wearingeul, the Star Child, was something that I already had as a color in my collection or not. I want to give myself the time, the opportunities to do all of this without stressing out over it. And because I'm participating in the InkMas Swap, I swatched the Diamine Inkvent calendar. If you want a spoiler video, it's linked up in the cards. But what I'm trying to say is the same thing that I'm trying to tell myself and tell you all at the same time, because maybe some of you need to hear it as well. A currently inked is not invalid at the end of any month. This is just a time construct that we give ourselves. And so I'm not following that time construct any longer. And that's why I'm giving myself the time to play with these pens all the way through November, or even until I just don't want to use them anymore. Now I totally did not do what I wanted to do. Let me clip this together because, as I said, I spoiled the ink vent and I don't want to accidentally flash those colors at you. So this is the first 10. And then, as I said, I inked 4 more. And these 4 I'm going to show you in order as I inked them. And then that's the video. There you go. That's all. That's all, period. I pulled out another water brush because as I'm playing more with inks, oh, I wanted to show you something too. I've been trying to play more with inks, and not necessarily when I'm done with the pen, I'm uninking the pen onto paper. No, I have inks that I consider play inks. Maybe they're too light, maybe they can go into a Pilot Parallel. Stuff that I don't want to put into pens for some reason or another. That is play inks. I have a whole drawer. Well, it's not full, but I have a dedicated drawer in my desk where I collect all those inks so that they don't look at me when I'm inking a pen and start making me feel anxious. You might understand that or hear me talking a lot about being anxious and stuff like that. And I seem to be a very anxious person to begin with, but I'm trying to not let that anxiety take over and mitigate and, find workarounds that help me not feel too anxious about stuff that I shouldn't or don't want to feel anxious about. Now, back to the video. Yeah, I made paper, or wrapping paper to be completely transparent here. And I just played because all of these papers are actually papers that I could have thrown away. They're calendar pages, Tomoe River paper calendar pages that are outdated, but I just couldn't throw them away because, yeah, they're good fountain pen friendly paper. And so I make journals with those. I use these papers to do ink splatters on. And this is a whole lot of fun. That's stuff that I'm doing when I'm not analyzing my fountain pens. And I want to give myself that freedom to just do whatever I want. These I wouldn't consider finished. I just laid down a first layer, and then I will go back and see what I can make. But yeah, highly encourage you to try that because it's just so much fun, and it's another thing to play with your pens and inks. Okay, let's get into the actual currently inked. This is a pen that I saw and thought, I absolutely need this. I haven't been able to snag a pen from Papa J, but then I was able to get this one. This is, I don't think he named it at all. I named it Hippie Girls Flowers, I think. Hippie Flower Girl? I don't know. Let me look it up. Not this one, this one. Hippie Girls Flowers. And I inked it with a bold ink. Oh my gosh. Have you seen? That's why I think, I picture a girl, woman. I'm 48 and I would totally walk around like that. Long hair, a flower wreath in her hair, batik shirt in these bold colors, and flared jeans. That's what I picture when I see this pen. And this has, yeah, you can see I'm not writing with my pens very much. This is the first block nib that I'm experiencing. It's a fine nib, and I can just tell you that the experience that I'm having with this nib is much better than any JoWo nib that I have ever used. It's hilarious. Yeah, here goes my hate. My bashing of JoWo nibs. I don't really know why that is. Maybe it's just in my mind and I'm totally, you know, telling myself that that is true. But Papa J Studio, hippie, I probably should call it hippie flower girl. It's easier to remember. And this is a fine steel Bock nib, and the ink that is in here, you can see it by the sheen that is developing on the ink color. It is Pilot Iroshizuku Tsuji. Do I do anything else with this? No. I love this ink. I love this ink in this pen. You can see that there is a little bit of discoloration in the cap. Yes, I'm concerned about it, but I'm just going to, even if it stains, I'm just going to call this what happens when you use the pens. And so trying to stay calm. Then I inked the Benu Haute in Allure. This has a fine medium nib, and I wasn't sure about these pens in the beginning. They have been growing on me, and every time I use them, they feel extremely comfortable in my hand. So all the reservation that I had is not really an issue at all. So there we go. This, let me write this down first. This is very similar to the ink that I have in my White Bear pens, but it doesn't look the same because something is up with my White Bear pens. Let me write first. Benu. But I'm not there yet in my analysis, so we'll see what happens. This is a fine, it's another, no, that's not true. This is a medium nib. This is a medium nib, it's another steel nib. This one is a Bock nib. I really like the glitter in this pen. It's definitely not, it's more subdued than many of the Benu pens. But maybe that's why they are haute, sophisticated pens. This ink is Tono and Limbs. Yamada Diagonal. This nib glides extremely smoothly over this paper. It's almost too skatey. I need a little bit rougher paper texture to make this feel really good instead of just okay. And then this is the Benu Haute in Satin. If you want to see a different model, well, no, a different version of this, check out Manda, Inksplat Manda this video. She also got sent a Haute and chose this colorway, so you can compare and see how this satin colorway comes out. And I inked this with Tono and Limbs Bichorium, and I did not know how to feel about this ink in the beginning, but I am so enamored by this. I did not because my cart was so expensive when I put all of the things that I wanted in it at Venice that I took a lot of the ink bottles back out and just got some FOMO samples. I recently had the thought that I needed more tono, that I needed fun inks in my collection. I have the standard brands, Pilot Iroshizuku, Diamine, Waterman. I have some Sailor inks, I have some Kobe inks. But what I mean is, like, I don't have Linen Toolbar, I don't have Tono and Limbs, I don't have the fun inks that everybody is talking about. You know, the buzz inks, I don't have those in my collection. And I felt like I need to have those to be part of the community, which is absolutely not true. And then I looked through all the inks that Venice had in stock, and they also had this ink in stock. But I decided, instead of buying this color right away, let me use it in a pen first. And so I took all of the ink bottles back out and just left some samples in there so I could satisfy that FOMO feeling, which maybe that's not the way to go. But this one is one that Benu, Haute, Satin, and this broad nib. I do have another broad nib, Bock broad nib, in this one like this. Wow, language, grammar is not coming to me today. Is it ever? This feels like a marker. And the ink, as I said, is Tono and Limbs Petroleum. This is exactly the swamp that I love. So yeah, I can't wait to put this in a pen that is not this broad, but it's definitely giving bloody, dirty swamp mermaid vibes. So I put this into here. Maybe this is not necessarily the best match. Same with this one. Well, actually, this one kind of matches. And here, this one is probably going to roll away. That's a benefit of these Benu Hautes, because they are kind of squared. They don't roll away. And then the last one that I inked is this Twsbi Mini. And after I inked it and tried it, I remembered what I didn't like about it. And now I'm like, how am I going to go about this to preserve the nib? I could also buy a Twsbi Eco, which I don't have. Well, I do have one, but it has a nib. I don't know. Wow, look at this. It actually, when it's still wet, it works and dissolves a little, and you can see I didn't think this would actually work. Wow, interesting. So this is, I'm not really sure in which order you write it. This is the Twsbi AL Mini with a reverse architect nib. And you have lines like this on the front and lines like this on the back. And the ink that is in here is the Tramentis Document Black. And the issue that I had with this pen is that I don't like the screw to post, but this pen seals really well. So the only other option that I would have, most likely, in order to be able to use this nib with it, would be to get a Twsbi Eco or get the same grind on a different nib. Not sure that I really want to do that because what is wrong with this? I also replaced this pen recently with these two pens. This is a Lumos Duo, so it has two different tips here and one here. They're all filled with the Atramentis Document Black ink. And then this is a Tom Studio Ren with a tip here. And I use these to journal in my creative journal. But yesterday I felt like I need this Document Black ink in a fountain pen, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to have it in an extra fine or if that tip was too broad. So I decided, you know what, let me try this again and see what is wrong with this. I can already tell you that it's the screw to post. I just don't like it. And I am also someone who actually broke the back here, who over tightened the cap back here, so this completely crunched away. So yeah, I'm not sure then that Twsbis, I mean, I have a whole video on my Twsbi sob story that Twsbis would be the pens that I should be buying because I don't seem to be able to keep them alive. But also I haven't found a good alternative pen to be using these nibs with, like Document Black ink, document inks, pigment inks with. So yeah, it's a struggle. These are the 4 pens that I inked up after I had inked up 10. I feel like they fit really nicely in between these. And you can see here, there was a lot of red on this ink before it dried down completely. Now it's just green. This one is a shimmer ink, but I'm not really sure that you can even see any of the shimmer, which isn't really a problem for me at all. And then this is the Tsutsuji with the gold sheen on top. Yeah. So I guess whenever I'm done with all of these inks and analyzing them all, I will share my results and tell you how I liked each one of them, if any of these pens need to leave my collection because they were so bad. And I will see you again when I see you. Until then, I hope you do a lot of creative things. Don't overthink it, just do it. Until next time, bye.